Skyrim is a world that thrives on momentum. Cities clash over ancient thrones, guilds pull you into webs of political intrigue, and every crypt, cave, and corner seems to contain a secret just waiting to be uncovered. The land is teeming with activity, bursting with possibility, and yet nestled in the snow-covered hills west of Solitude stands a tower so overlooked, so unremarkable, that it feels like the world has simply passed by it. That place is Pinefrost Tower. To call Pinefrost Tower a location almost feels generous. It's not much more than a crumbling ruin sitting on a ridge staring blankly into the cold northern sky. Most players won't even know it exists. It's not marked on the map until you get really close. No one ever mentions it. No quest points you there. And once you arrive, there's no reward, no confrontation, no narrative breadcrumb to follow. There's just nothing. Some places in Skyrim are forgotten not because of their location, but because of their silence. Last time we explored a lonely outpost in the southeast, a beacon, Stendarr's Beacon, that stood vigil for a war that never came. This time we travel in the opposite direction, both geographically and spiritually, to another structure that's been abandoned not with fire or blood, but with indifference. When you first spot Pinefrost Tower, it seems to hint at significance. A tall stone structure, partially intact, sits like a lone sentinel over the snowy landscape. It has the air of something meaningful. Maybe a lookout post from the days of Skyrim's early history, a lost military outpost, a secret bandit den. Skyrim trains you to expect something, and so naturally you investigate. But when you reach the top, all you find is a dead bandit, a bedroll, and a chest with some randomized loot and some gold. That's it. No journals, no letters, no ghosts, no traps, no clever puzzles. In a game so dense with content, Pinefrost Tower feels like an absence. It gives you a named location and then offers absolutely nothing to justify the existence. Even the most inconsequential caves in Skyrim often have a bit of flair. A skeleton posed dramatically, a scrawled note, a bit of visual storytelling. But Pinefrost Tower has none of that. It is a place that dares to do nothing at all. Skyrim rarely leaves you alone. Even its silence usually comes with meaning. A barren tundra might lead you to a hunter's cabin. A still lake might conceal a sunken chest. But the tower is one of the only places where the silence is total. The game doesn't try to pull you deeper. It doesn't whisper a story in your ear. It just stands there. This is a place where the world stops speaking to you. There's no music cue, no ambient tension, just wind and snow and stone. You can almost imagine that Bethesda placed it there as kind of a forgotten placeholder, a landmark that was going to matter and then didn't. A tower built for a quest that never got written, or maybe it was never meant to matter. Maybe it was always supposed to be a place that simply exists, and in that way it becomes strangely poetic. If Pinefrost Tower does have a story, it's one you have to invent yourself. Why was the tower built? Who lived here? Was it ever manned by soldiers, or was it always just another waypoint in Skyrim's vast, uncaring wilderness? There's a strange kind of sadness to it. The dead bandit at the top wasn't killed in some epic battle. There was no scorch marks, no arrows, no drama. It looks like they just stopped living one day. Their body, like the tower, is a remnant without a reason. You could imagine them as a fugitive hiding from the law, taking shelter in the ruins only to succumb to the cold or starvation. Maybe they were trying to start a new life out there, away from the chaos of the world. Maybe they were just passing through, but Skyrim evidently gives you nothing. No prompt, no text, no closure. And in doing so, it opens a vacuum your imagination can fill, but only if you choose to, because the game itself does not really care. There's something powerful about a place like Pinefrost Tower. In a game that constantly rewards you with XP, gold, dialogue decisions, Pinefrost Tower offers only a bit of that. It is content without consequence, a landmark without law. And in that sense, it almost feels subversive. Modern games, especially open world RPGs, are obsessed with making every corner of the map matter. Developers cramming collectibles, quest hooks, Easter eggs, and side stories to make every step feel productive. But here, Pinefrost Tower quietly resists that philosophy. It is one of the few places in Skyrim that trust the player to be okay with not being rewarded. It dares to offer an experience that's purely atmospheric. You reach the summit, look out over the snow-covered peaks, hear the wind howl, and that's it. No fanfare, no deeper meaning, just a moment of stillness in a game obsessed with movement. The only real sense that makes it feel like a place in Skyrim is the 2-leveled frost trolls or ice wraiths that greet you. But even then, that all feels irrelevant. Unlike Skyrim's grand ruins, ancient Nord barrows and Dwemer cities frozen in time, Pinefrost Tower is a modern relic. It doesn't belong to some mythical civilization, it's not tied to the gods or the dragons. It's just a ruin. And that makes it feel weirdly grounded. This is not a ruin of legend, this is a ruin of circumstance. It could have been a military outpost, a bandit lookout, a hunter's retreat. And like so many forgotten places in our own world, it simply fell out of use. Now it decays, ignored, and unimportant. Its stone walls aren't lined with glowing crystals, its secrets are not protected by puzzles. There are no ghosts here, only echoes. This place never changes. No quest sends you back here, no character ever mentions it. It isn't updated or reused in DLC, and once you visit it, it remains exactly as you left it. And that makes it one of the rarest things in all of Skyrim, a place that exists entirely outside the story. You cannot affect it, and it does not affect you. That kind of narrative isolation is rare in games, and even rarer in Skyrim. Almost every other location in the game is connected to something bigger, but Pinefrost Tower feels like a place that exists purely for itself. It doesn't care whether you're the Dragonborn, or a wandering thief, or a lost alchemist. You are irrelevant here, and in that irrelevance, there is some kind of freedom. What Pinefrost Tower truly reveals is the strange luxury of a world that's too large to be entirely known. Skyrim is a curated experience, but it also allows for the possibility of places that fall through the cracks. Pinefrost isn't broken, bugged, or glitched. It's just there. It doesn't tie into any of the game's main systems, it doesn't complete a checklist. And that might be the most honest kind of realism Skyrim offers. Because in the real world, not every ruin has a plaque, not every corpse has a diary. Sometimes things are abandoned and no one remembers why. Sometimes a place just exists, quietly eroding under the snow and time. That's what this tower is, a digital ghost of intention. Maybe half built and half forgotten, it doesn't need you to be there. But the fact that you found it, the fact that you noticed its absence of meaning, makes it meaningful in a completely different way. Pinefrost Tower is a place in Skyrim where nothing happens. And in a world built on chaos, that makes it feel unforgettable. It is a monument to nothingness. A tower without a purpose, a ruin without a story, a location the game itself seems to have forgotten. And maybe that's why it matters. Because in a game where you are always the hero, always the center of the universe, this tower offers something rare. A moment of quiet, a place that asks for nothing of you. A reminder that not every story needs a conflict, and not every place needs a point. Sometimes the most powerful locations are the ones that let you feel small.